Hello and welcome back to my humble show. I'm your host for today and every other day, the Articulate Thinker. Hopefully. And just so you know, this is a pod, not a podcast. It's not meant to last too long, so let me see if I can get this started off strong. I have a few buttons to push. Hopefully I can push the right ones. Fingers crossed. Actually, I should leave them uncrossed because I have to push some buttons. There has been a plot twist. Dun 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 dun. In the presidential race. And at least one of two presidential candidates is going to be facing some consequences. I emphasize the con and consequences. Here is a headline, courtesy of the New York Times. Trump turns on Ramaswamy just days before the Iowa Caucuses. Ramaswamy, the wealthy entrepreneur, had been the Republican candidate most closely aligned with Mr. Trump before the former president recently went on attack. Not just any attack. The attack. Is it the attack which will end Vivek Ramaswamy's campaign, ultimately? Well, let me know in the comments below what you think, what you know. Feel free to disagree with me on anything I may say. I may say some things you disagree with. That is okay. So let me click around and find out a few things. And I hope you stick around and find out a few things with me. Let me lay this out for you nice and neat until it's complete. Voila. This is how it started. We like Ramaswamy, Trump said after whacking his rivals Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, along with the usual hits on President Joe Biden. You know why? Because he likes Trump. So that is Trump referring to himself in the third person, saying that he likes Ramaswamy because Ramaswamy likes Trump. All right, so more recently, and I must add that it is very recent, considering it just happened today, well, Vivek Ramaswamy posted this picture of himself posing with some young lads who happened to be wearing t-shirts which featured pictures of Donald Trump's face upon them, and the problem with that is the caption above and below Donald Trump's face. Save Trump, vote Vivek. Zoomed it in there for you. And there is Vivek Ramaswamy in the middle. Vivek, which rhymes with cake, but also with snake. Take your pick, pick your poison. All right. So that did not age well. Not too long after, if I have my timeline correct, Donald Trump had this to say on his Truth Social account. Vivek started his campaign as a great supporter, the best president in generations, etc. That's what Vivek Ramaswamy was saying, and still is. Unfortunately, now all he does is disguise his support in the form of deceitful campaign tricks. Ooh. Very sly, says Donald Trump. Sly. That's what snakes are, all right. But, you decide. Donald Trump continues. But a vote for Vivek is a vote for the other side. Don't get duped by this. Vote for Trump. Don't waste your vote. Vivek is not MAGA. The Biden indictments against his political opponent will never be allowed in this country. They are already beginning to fall. MAGA. That's what Donald Trump has to say as of today. After all of his praise of Vivek Ramaswamy, simply because Vivek Ramaswamy was praising Donald Trump, which he is still doing, to be fair. It's just that the schemes of the snake, the slithering snake, have begun to show themselves. Have begun to show themselves. Begun. And then some. What else do I have for you? Let me show you something. Vivek Ramaswamy also posted this on his X account. There is a video attached to it. I'm not going to play the video. But he said, as he has been saying, here's the plot and it's hiding in plain sight. Narrow this to a two-horse race between Trump and Haley, eliminate Trump, trot their puppet into the White House. That is his projected 3-step plan, which he is projecting upon the Democrats. And it sounds fairly reasonable. It does. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy pretty much said the same thing just a couple of days ago, and he added at the end that what the Democrats were going to do, or shall I say, the establishment was going to do, was to eliminate Donald Trump and then trot their puppet out, whom would, according to Ramaswamy, well, it would be Nikki Haley, and then she would choose Ron DeSantis to be her vice president, and according to Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis wouldn't even have a choice in this choice, which makes no sense, considering how Ron DeSantis has already made his choice. He has said no, he would never, or at least not, be Nikki Haley's vice president, even if she asked. On the other hand, Vivek Ramaswamy started off his campaign by stating definitively that he would not be the vice president even for Donald Trump. And also the other way around, Donald Trump would not be his vice president. But now he has changed his own tune on that, and he has basically suggested that it could be either or, that he would be open to a vice presidential position under Donald Trump, or vice versa. He would very likely, allegedly, choose Donald Trump to be his vice president if he were to somehow, miraculously, using that word very loosely, win the election. Or at least Vivek Ramaswamy would choose Donald Trump as his advisor, whatever that means. But Ramaswamy continues here. I respect the heck out of Trump. He's the best president of the 21st century. I've defended him at every step against the unjust prosecutions, but also persecutions. That's what he says. I filed a Supreme Court brief this week laying out the winning legal arguments to overrule Colorado's disastrous ruling. I filed FOIA demands against the Biden administration. I went to Miami to rally outside the courthouse against Joe Biden and Merrick Garland's unjust federal indictment of Trump. I've called on every Republican to remove themselves from the ballot of Maine and Colorado if they remove Trump. But open your eyes to the hard truth. This system will stop at nothing to keep this man away from the White House. Just because it's wrong doesn't mean it won't happen, and we owe it to our nation to take America first forward. Very interesting dynamic here. And there is a video which goes along with this, in which he posted, if I'm not mistaken, shortly after Donald Trump posted what he posted on his Truth Social account. And if you ask me, Vivek Ramaswamy sounds a little bit desperate. I wasn't planning on playing any of this clip. I'll play just a little bit of it.
Here's the hard truth, and nobody seems to want to acknowledge it. But it's what's happening in plain sight. And I'm going to ask you to open your eyes.
I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. To what exactly? Oh. His promise, prediction, prophecy even, that Donald Trump will be eliminated from the election despite his ironic defense of Donald Trump. And by defense, I mean Vivek Ramaswamy is saying, I'm going to do everything I can to keep Donald Trump on the ballot, and anyone who does not follow suit is exposing themselves. Any other candidate who does not, for example, promise to drop off of the ballots in whatever state Trump has dropped off the ballots in, well, they're exposing themselves. But also, he is simultaneously claiming that Donald Trump will be eliminated, regardless. And therefore, all of the voters, whoever they are, should vote for Vivek in order to save Trump, as the photo showed. There you go. So it seems to be a bit strategic, if you ask me. Not that you did. It seems to be Vivek's only strategy. So I can't say he went wrong with it, considering how he was a nobody a couple of years ago compared to the other candidates who are still in the race. But I do find this to be an interesting dynamic, because Donald Trump, his whole argument was, they're trying to eliminate me from the race. And then here comes Vivek Ramaswamy saying, they're going to eliminate Trump from the race, so you should vote for me. And then Donald Trump's defense against Vivek Ramaswamy is, the Biden indictments against his political opponent will never be allowed in this country. They are already beginning to fall. MAGA. So, again, I reiterate. Ramaswamy is saying, Trump will be eliminated. And Trump is saying, I will not be eliminated. Trump is saying, these indictments against me will fail. So on the one hand, just for Trump himself, he has gone from, they stole the election from me, to, they will not be allowed to steal the election from me. That is hilarious. Oh my word. I'm a little bit at a loss for words right now. If you really think about it, just the irony of it all. Trump is basically arguing against his own previous arguments at this point in order to defend himself against the non-attacks of Vivek Ramaswamy. It's just that Vivek Ramaswamy is stealing Donald Trump's votes or something like that. At least attempting to save Trump by voting for Vivek. Once again, there it is. The top right-hand corner of your screen. Oh, wait. Guess it depends on the perspective. What else do I have here for you? I have some thoughts of my own. I'll pull them up. Keep this moving on. Keep this moving right along. But I will put this in the background. This is the actual post on Donald Trump's Truth Social account. Yeah, there you see it. Just in case you couldn't read it when it was down in the corner of the screen. All right, and now my thoughts, as if I haven't shared enough already. Donald Trump is now officially ready to wreck Vivek Ramaswamy. And it was only a matter of time. The time would have come much sooner had Trump actually shown up to a debate. Which is precisely why Ramaswamy stopped calling on Trump to debate long ago. Vivek's newfound love for Donald just didn't cut the cake in the end. He would have been better off running his own original race without grifting off of Trump and drifting behind him in hopes of being MAGA's chosen replacement, with the assumption being that Trump would indeed be eliminated from the race. A falling out was inevitable, simply because predicting and promising everyone that Trump would be eliminated while simultaneously pretending to pledge allegiance to him through legal action and pointless ballot self-removal could only stand the test of time for so long. Outright calling upon people to vote for himself in the name of saving Trump was the final straw before the grand finale downfall of Ramaswamy's vigorous campaign for presidency. It was both fun and fascinating while it lasted. The fact that Ramaswamy was willing to bombastically blast literally any politician but Trump, even if Trump had previously been the one to prop up those very same politicians, should have been a red flag to anyone free from the side effects of both Trump derangement syndrome and Trump attachment syndrome. Ramaswamy had no record and therefore was able to craft his rhetoric in a way which he felt would lead him along the largest lane in the Republican Party. The problem is, that lane isn't big enough for both Trump and Ramaswamy. And because Trump has yet to be run off the road by the Democrats, he instead has finally decided to run Ramaswamy off the road. Ramaswamy had no record to run on, and has now run out of rhetoric. He took himself so seriously that even Trump saw through it. And why wouldn't he? Trump cares only about winning and about those who are willing to help him win. The circus goes on as clowns are eliminated. I say, if you value character over charisma and cause over candidate, vote for Ron DeSantis. Hashtag DeSantis 2024. There is a bit more to the article, which I pulled up at the very beginning. So I'm going to pull it up once more and read just a little bit of it, just to emphasize the fact that this is going to become a narrative. It already has become a narrative, obviously. Check it out. Scrolling down a little bit further. Former President Donald Trump attacked Vivek Ramaswamy, who is most closely aligned with him in the race for the Republican nomination, accusing the wealthy entrepreneur of engaging in deceitful campaign tricks. That's a little bit hard on the eyes, so I'll unhighlight it. Again, deceitful campaign tricks. What say you, though? A vote for Vivek is a vote for the other side. Don't get duped by this, Mr. Trump said on social media, adding that Vivek is not MAGA. Interesting how the article names Trump as Mr. Trump rather than as President Trump. I don't really care. I just call him Donald Trump. I just wonder if they would refer to, say, Barack Obama as Mr. Obama as opposed to President Obama. Not sure. Who wrote this article? Jonathan Swan and Chris Cameron. But that's besides the point. An hour earlier, a senior advisor for Mr. Trump, Chris Lasivita, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, also attacked Mr. Ramaswamy on social media as a fraud in response to a photo showing supporters of Mr. Ramaswamy wearing shirts displaying Mr. Trump's mugshot, which Trump has profited off of. But in this case, Ramaswamy is, in a sense, trying to profit off of them by getting people to save Trump by voting for Vivek. So yeah, like I said, this is becoming a narrative. It already has become a narrative. A narrative. The attacks from Mr. Trump and one of his top aides in quick succession suggest that the Trump campaign has deliberately shifted toward attacking Mr. Ramaswamy in the final days before Monday's Iowa caucuses. Some are saying that they sense that Ramaswamy might actually be a threat to Trump's campaign in terms of receiving votes, at least in the Iowa caucus or throughout the primaries. Others are saying it simply has to do with the fact that, you know, that final straw was drawn by Ramaswamy when he was posing for pictures in a shirt, which basically outright stated that people should vote for himself over Donald Trump. Either way, I think everyone is exposing themselves at this point. That's why I say vote for Ron DeSantis. But you do you. You do you. And don't complain to me. We shall see what will happen. Until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Keep in touch. Keep in tune. New content is coming soon. This is more of a podcast than a pod. So maybe I'll just go ahead and call it a podcast. I think I will. Almost 20 minutes into it. That's okay. I've been meaning to record some shows anyway. All right. What more can I say? Crazy world. Crazy politicians. Peace.